All right, we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is my channel, Barn on 11970. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And hopefully we'll get some free thinkers in here, people willing to discuss, and especially people who are willing to listen. Even if you don't like the person or persons that are speaking, if you at least give people a fair opportunity to be heard, and listen to what somebody's point of view is. You never know, we might, as people and as human beings, as species, actually start learning a better way to communicate. Because as we can see what's going on in this world, there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of people just not willing to do the simple things of just listening. And I think that's a key. Now, do I have the answers to everything? I wish I did. Will maybe one thing out of what I say can resonate with somebody and it helps them make their life better? Well, we'll find out. So I want to thank each and every individual that will listen to this. And I always start out, because it's a live show and I haven't done a video in about a week to 10 days, give people a moment to kind of get in here before I start getting into my topic of discussion. So today is the 19th of September, 2017. It is currently 1:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I see people are starting to come in, so thank you for that. Now, we see there's a lot of hatred going on in this world. There's a lot of division. There's a lot of problems. And I can understand, or what word I like to use a lot is understand, why people are angry. I mean, there's a lot of people suffering. There's wars, there's famines, there's the tragedies with the hurricanes and other events. There's a lot of misinformation. I can understand why there are plenty of people in this world who maybe say, well, I've had enough. Now, there's an old saying that says, two wrongs don't make a right. So, if you have a belief that you're not where you want to be, well, to bring others down will not lift us up. To hurt others will not help us. So we have to start thinking in different ways if we want to try and start making this world a better place and start fixing this world. Because it ultimately comes down to your own individual responsibility. And we have been too much now, for the past maybe few decades, being dependent on others, whether it's technology from your phone, whether it's the media, whether it's your governments, who knows? But we've been too much becoming dependent on other things to try and take care of us. Now, it all could have started with good intentions. We don't really know what other people are thinking. What they say and what they do are two different things, because there are plenty of people in this world, especially when it comes to, like, for example, mainstream media or the government, where they'll tell you what you want to hear, and then behind closed doors do things that contradict what they say. And we see this all the time, even in the people that we might believe in. So actions do speak louder than words. But the key thing we have to start doing is seeing each other in a different light. Now, one of the biggest things you'll see these days, as far as what they do to divide us, is separation. Now, we could separate through wealth, separate through religion, separate through your sexual orientation, your skin color. There's a lot of different ways that they can divide people, and sometimes divide them in several different pieces, like you see in the image before you. Now, if I was to ask you, who are you? You could say, well, I'm a Republican, or I'm a Democrat, or I am a single white female, or I am a gay Latino. It could be, you could go endless different directions. This is the one thing I want everybody to start understanding. Who are you? You are a human. We all live on this planet, whether it is round or flat. We live on top of something. We are all human beings. We are human beings with different beliefs, different sexual orientations, different skin colors, different thoughts. And to me, that's a beautiful thing. Because if everybody looked, acted, and thought the same, how would you ever learn anything new? So to me, to have someone different from me is not a bad thing, because I can learn something new from that person. Now, whether I agree with it or not is up for me to decide. So the first thing we have to separate is we have to stop saying, well, that's a black man, and that's a white woman, and that's an Oriental person, and that's a gay person, and that's a leftist person. How about we're all human beings? We all live on this planet. We all have something that we can give, provide, teach, and grow with. The separation has to stop. As far as not allowing other people to have their point of view. Now, we don't want to have people that hurt others. Now, words are one thing. You know, if somebody wants to say something, like people that don't like me, if they want to say something, you know what, that's fine. I'm still breathing. I can still consume food. I can still live my life. If they want to say words, even if I don't like them or don't think it's fair or what have you, they have the right to say them. But they don't have the right to steal from you or to try and cause you pain. And a lot of times it's because we feel victimized in one way or another. And because we cannot save ourselves, maybe we choose not to, we have this anger that we store up inside, this frustration, and we don't know what to do with it. And because we are several generations into having governments and computers and technology and information being fed to us, we stop doing things on our own. And we stop taking responsibility. You know, counseling is good for some people, but it's not good for everybody. Because if you always need somebody else to dictate how you live your life, you are giving your life's energy to someone or something else in hopes that it's there to do the right thing. Now, you can control what you do to a certain extent. Of course, accidents happen. But there's a difference between a slip and a fall and somebody going, getting a gun, loading it up, going to somebody, pointing it at them, pulling the trigger, and murdering them. There's a huge difference. Accidents can happen. You can't stop that. But you can stop yourself from doing something you don't want to. So it all boils down to choice. People have different choices, and that's okay. And that's why, for example, like I even mentioned with the Earth, whether it's round or flat, if you really think about how this world works, there is nothing in this world that has 100% evidence that goes in one specific way and says, here, this is the way it is. Because I've said so many times on this channel that you create your own reality, you create your own truth. So if you are a person that believes in flat Earth, for example, you will find all the information you need to confirm your belief, or at least your curiosity. And at the same token, if you are a person that believes flat Earth is garbage, and you have the right to have that opinion, and you go to seek all of the truths that confirm that you're living on a globe, well, you're going to get just as much information there. So in other words, the truth is in the lies, and the lies are in the truth. Because no matter what you believe, you will always be gravitating towards information that will validate your belief. Not everybody or everything is going to be loved, because if you think of it, let's just assume there is a God. Let's just say there's one God, just for argument's sake. I'm not getting into religion. Let's just assume there's one creator. How many people curse that creator on a daily basis? Or don't even believe that that individual or individuals exists? So even something like, for example, let's just say Jesus, if he was real. Now, I'm not debating whether it was or not. I wasn't there during the whole crucifixion. I don't know if it was written as a story, if it was allegory, or it was a real individual. I wasn't there. So it doesn't matter what information is provided to me, because there will be information that's provided to say, oh, that person was absolutely 100% real. And then If I want to look the other way, there's going to be 100% evidence that shows that it was a fictional story. So again, it's what you resonate with. But there's the yin and the yang, the positive and the negative, the light and the dark. You're going to find information no matter what. That is why we are always running around in circles, seeking the truth. What is the truth? The truth is your perception of it, your feelings towards it, what you resonate with, because you will find answers in either direction. That's why we do have a left and a right. And that's why you've had people that have been on the left, and of course, it will be flagged for unadvertiser friendly, because that's what they do. But again, it's just a temporary thing. So let's get back on track here. Your truth is your truth. Somebody else's truth is somebody else's truth, but they're both true at the same time. Because, for example, whether you believe in aliens or don't believe in aliens, well, if you are a person that believes aliens exist, you're going to get confirmation from the information you seek that will verify that, oh, that is right, there are aliens. If you don't believe in them at all, you will research and find the very opposite information, proving that they don't exist, never existed, it was just a fairy tale made to deceive you. So we have to start thinking in a different way, because you'll have people that'll hate other people because their version of their truth is different from the version of truth from somebody else. And because they believe so wholeheartedly in their individual truth, they don't understand that that other person or person's truth is just as valid as yours. It's just opposite. It's just different. And we seem to want to hurt others for having their created truth interact or intercede or whatever with your own. And that's the wrong way to go about it. And again, separation. And we have to think about who is creating these problems. Because I'm sure either if you've lived in a city or ever visited a city or gone to a town where there's a bunch of people walking around, you see individuals going their own ways, doing their own things. You don't see, as people interact, that they have to beat each other up, they have to kill each other. I used to work in Manhattan, where there are literally hundreds of thousands of people walking the streets, walking through the crowd to go from one block to the next. I wasn't trying to fight my way through to survive because everybody was attacking me. No, we all go our merry way. In other words, the quote-unquote regular people, as so many on the upper echelon like to call us, we're not interested in wars. We're not interested in hurting others. We're just interested in going our own ways, while others allow us to go our ways, just like you allow people to continue on their way. So who starts the wars? Who starts the misinformation? Who conceals things and hides things from us? What do they have to gain? It is okay to be an individual, worried about yourself, or worried about your family or your inner circle. You don't have to love everybody, but you don't have to hurt them either. And that's the unfortunate part of free will. There could be a person that just decided one day that I'm going to take a rock and go and murder somebody just because I can, or just because it's fun, or just because somebody dared me or paid me. But the choice is always there to not do the wrong thing. It always boils down to responsibility and choice. Because it's very easy to do the wrong thing. It's very easy to hurt somebody else. It's very easy to clog up your ears and say, I refuse to listen. There are plenty of people that will never hear my words because for whatever reason, they do not like me as a human or as a person or as a YouTuber or what have you. People that have never met me, people that base things on assumption, and they'll do that to you as well. There are plenty of people that don't like you because, like I said earlier, for as many people that will curse God, if God exists, or doesn't believe that God exists, how many people are Satanists? Think about that. There are people that would live and die or serve somebody that supposedly is the ultimate evil. So think about the two sides of that coin. On one side, you have the light. You have supposedly the creator, the God image, the Jesus or the Buddha or whatever religion, the loving nature. And yet there will be plenty of people that will either believe it doesn't exist or will hate it. And on the other end of the spectrum of what is considered pure evil and darkness, the whole Satanist kind of situation, there will be people who will worship it, who will love it, who will want to be that. So there is always something for everyone. Now, if you want to believe in Satan, that is your thing. You just do not have the right to impose my belief system on your own. Go do what you want to do as long as it doesn't harm others. If you want to go into your house and have consensual sex with another adult doing very weird, kinky things that most people think are crazy, as long as you have consenting adults and you are not doing something to harm others without their permission, I should not care what you do. But I don't have to like it. But that's what respect is all about. Respect doesn't have to be that you like everything, because life doesn't work that way. But just because you don't like something or don't agree with something doesn't make you a bad person just because somebody else believes it. And that's why I bring up the whole flat earth thing. To me, I don't care if the earth is round, if it's triangular, if it's a hologram, if it's a square, if it's completely flat. Because no matter what it is, we're living on top of it. So we better find a way to live on top of whatever shaped planet this is without killing one another. Because when you're born, you can put a black baby next to a white baby, next to a baby that may one day be gay, next to a baby that may one day be a Democrat, next to a baby that may one day be a Republican, and all of those babies will probably play with each other or sleep next to each other. They will not want to pick up their bottle and try and stab the other baby. You could put a male baby next to a female baby, and they will not try and compete for superiority. And we're so focused now on the ego of the, you have to believe in what I believe. You have to say what I say. Otherwise, there's something wrong with you. And if you don't see how that hurts us as a species, as a human concept, then we're losing the focus. Because I'll give you a prime example and how they use words and how they get you to be just conformed, how easy it is. Think of something like affirmative action. Now, when you hear that word, you've been conditioned to think, oh, that's a great thing. Affirmative action, in other words, with the whole diversity, everybody should get an opportunity to be able to do whatever they want to do. And that's true. But let me ask you this. Would you want a person with no arms and no legs to do your open heart surgery? Now, could they do it? I'm sure they'd find the way. It is possible. But would that be the best individual for the job at hand? Let's keep it down to basics. Let's say you're the captain of a baseball team in like your backyard in your neighborhood. And you have a bunch of kids all lined up, and you have two teams. So you have two coaches, and you're one of them. Now, as your first choice, who are you going to pick? Are you going to pick the little kid that's about 5 years old, never played before, doesn't know anything about baseball, probably would cry if the ball got near them, would not know how to catch the ball, never played? Would you go for the teenager who is 400 pounds and has an asthma problem? Or would you go for somebody that looks like they're very athletic and have played sports all of their lives? Who would you pick first? Now, with the problems of today, well, if you didn't pick that little kid or that heavy person, then there was something wrong with you. But what do you want for your team? If you want your team to win, you want to have the best available to be able to make your team productive. Now, as much as that 5-year-old's probably not a bad person, that 5-year-old is probably not going to do the same job as some 18-year-old who plays baseball on a regular basis, who's in shape, who is ready to play, and is eager to go. They will do better than the person that is morbidly obese and has a breathing problem, because in baseball you have to run around. So if you are a coach or the leader of your team, your job is to pick the best player available for your team. Now, just because you pick that person as the best player does not mean you hate that morbidly obese child. Does not mean you want to murder that 5-year-old kid. It just means they are not the best for what you need. But yet, when you think of the word affirmative action, they make you think, well, we need diversity. No, we need the best people for the job. Now, if somebody is saying, well, I'll only pick white people, then that is wrong. Or if somebody says, I will only pick women, that is wrong. Unless that white person is the best person for the job, or that woman is the best person for the job. But they have us conditioned to think, well, because of affirmative action, we have to just hire people. They may not be the most qualified, but we have to make sure we have a certain amount of individuals of races, creeds, sexual preferences, whatever, to make a system happy. And if you notice in this world, no matter what you do, there will always be people that hate you. There will always be people that are not happy. So no matter what you do, you could not make everybody happy. The problem is this world is trying so hard to make everybody happy, it cannot happen. So if you are a person that discriminates based on race, then there's something wrong with you as a human being. Because to me, if I was the captain of that team, I don't care if the best player is gay. I don't care if the best player is black or white, male or female, Democrat or Republican, believes in flat earth or believes in round earth. If that is the best player that will make my team better, that is the person I want on the team. And this is what we seem to forget. And we start attacking other people because we don't think logically. We have been taught to be working with nothing but emotion. And emotions are good. You need them. Because obviously you can't love somebody without emotion. But when it dictates too much of anything is bad for you. The idea is balance. That's what the yin and yang is all about. And that's why if you ever look at the symbol for yin and yang, you'll see one part is black, one part is white, but you'll see a little bit of black in the white part and a little bit of white in the black part. A little bit of black in the white, little white in the black. There we go. So we can have unity if we start thinking logically and thinking from a perspective more than just your point of view. Because as much as you think your point of view is right, there will be someone else to say you are 100% wrong, and they will believe it just as much as you believe yours. So which is right? Just look at religion. Are they all right? Are they all wrong? Well, if there's only one true religion, and I'm not sure which one there is, if there even is, then that means the rest are wrong. But try and tell somebody that believes in Buddha that Jesus Christ is the answer. Or somebody that believes in Jesus Christ that Satan is worth listening to. You can sometimes get more information from your enemy than you can your best friend. because you can sometimes learn what not to do. And in this world these days of people trying to silence people's thoughts because it doesn't coincide with their feelings, you are taking away half of an equation. Have you ever had a food you didn't like something you've tried and you'll never eat again? Well, how did you know you didn't like it until you tried it? You couldn't know that. You can have everybody tell you that this particular food is the best thing out there. It doesn't matter what anybody else says or believes, even if everybody on the planet, let's just say, for example, broccoli. Let's say you've never tried broccoli before, and everybody on the planet except for you has tried broccoli, and every single person on the planet says it's the best thing ever. Now, you could base it on what the majority have said and just say, well, it must be good. I don't even have to try it because everybody else says it's good, so it must be good. No, because you can try it and you can absolutely hate it, which means your truth, even though you are the only one on the planet that says you don't like it, it doesn't matter if everybody else says, what are you, crazy? Everybody loves it. There's not a person on the planet that doesn't like it. Well, if you don't like it, that's what matters. And the only way you would know that is to experience it. So if you based life on the fact that, well, everybody else says broccoli is the best, and you just said, well, it must be, and you never try it, you are missing out on an experience. So when other people have a belief system and they try and silence somebody because it's opposite of theirs, maybe sometimes you need to learn what you don't want. There's a reason why most people love 4 different seasons of weather. Now, they'll complain about them. It's either too cold or too hot. But it's because of the fact that something is too cold that you appreciate something as it warms up. You don't appreciate water until you're thirsty or you go to swim in it. So in other words, sometimes you just have to experience life in order to say, I want that, I like that, I hate that, I never want it again. You won't know until you do it. So if people are trying to stop you from your belief because it's different from theirs, then they are saying, you don't know how to think for yourself. We will think for you. So you shouldn't even bother trying to listen to this individual or these individuals. And you shouldn't try and research this thing that everybody else says is crazy. That is not how life works. That is not how you learn. You learn through your mistakes. You learn through failure. You learn through experience. If you base everything on what everybody else says, then all you are is a follower too afraid to ever take a chance. And these people these days, and they're a minority, but they're a loud minority, and they're trying to dictate people's way of thinking, saying, if you don't think in our way, then you are wrong. Well, why are they wrong? Because the people on the other end think they're wrong, but they both believe they're right. In other words, their truths are both truthful because, like I've said before, you create your own reality, you create your own truth. Those of you that are listening, there are people here that love me. There are people here that hate me. Both are right in their own minds. But I won't stop either one. I can't stop somebody from hating me, and I can't stop somebody from loving me. And they can change their mind anytime they want. But that's why this channel is never about, this is the way you need to think. What I do is share my point of view. You either resonate with it or you don't. If you're one of those people that just comes here to hate, then you're not listening to what maybe you don't want, or maybe information that could help you. So who are you really hurting? When you stop people from being their own individual, you are stopping the world from creating something new. And you are slowing the progression of the universe and the world and humanity in itself. When you stop free speech, when you tell people how to think, when you tell people they're wrong for their belief system, you are stopping growth, you are stopping progress, you are stifling our dreams. But here's the thing. You don't have to allow them. If you're insecure, do something to fix that. If you're shy, learn to do a different thing. Or crawl up into a ball and do nothing. That is your choice. But no, you have unlimited power. And don't go by what the masses say. Because like I said, if the whole entire world tried broccoli and said it's the best thing ever, does that mean it's the best ever for you? Does that mean you don't have to try it and just take their word for it? Let's say there's 2 billion people on the planet. Well, let's say 2,000,000,001 people on this planet. And 2 billion people have all tried broccoli except for you. Does that mean you don't have to try it because all 2 billion others said, well, you gotta like it because it's the best. And look, everybody else is saying it's the best, so it must be. No, you have to find out for yourself. It's called experience. Do you want to base your world on what other people tell you is your truth? Or do you want to base things on what is your truth? Now, that doesn't mean you don't have to listen to them. You can sometimes listen to find out what side you want to be on, or which side you want to be on that day. You can have an ideal and a belief, and all of a sudden, you change that belief. And the world is trying to say, no, you can't think any other way. This is the only way. Well, if that was true, then there would be, for example, and I'll just keep using the flat earth. If flat earth was 100% truth, then there would be no examples proving that the world is round. Or vice versa. If the world was round, then you would never be able to find anything that would say the earth is flat. But yet, if you look in either direction, you will find the truth that will be verified in your belief. The problem is when you only hold on to one idea and say, this is the right way and the other way can't be right. You are limiting yourself in one direction, which means you become a two-dimensional character in a three-dimensional world. Because in a three-dimensional world, you go in more than one direction, more than two directions. So why are you limiting yourself? Because again, using the flat earth policy, let's say you believe in the flat earth and you 100% believe and all of your information is verifying that the earth is flat. Well, why don't you check the other side just to make sure that you're not wrong? Or to prove that you are right. And that's the funny part. You will always find truth in whatever you search and believe in with your heart. If you're passionate about something, you will always find something to verify and confirm your belief. Because the funny thing is, if you do the exact opposite, you will still find the same thing. So what is truth? That is something I've been searching for a long time until I've realized that truth is whatever you make it out to be. It's whatever you are passionate about. And that's where emotion can come into play. But you also have to use the brain, the yin and the yang. The emotion is one, the brain is the other. You go by your gut and your feelings, and you also go through logic. And people are so afraid to do that because they're afraid to go against what the masses might say, or what the masses might believe. And they allow other people to dictate their own livelihood to the point where some people are so afraid to do anything for fear of judgment that they don't realize, because you need real eyes to realize, that sometimes you just have to learn what you don't like. Let's say you have two straight men, and for whatever reason, they decide, you know what, I'm going to experience what the gay lifestyle is about. I'm curious about it, let's find out. And you try it and say, oh my God, that was embarrassing, that was disgusting, I'm grossed out, I'll never do that again. Well, you wouldn't know if you liked it or not unless you did it. Now, does that mean you have to? No, it all comes down to choice. Because let's say you are two straight men, and you decided to try it, and you thought, wow, this is really where I want to be. It's everything that I didn't know was possible. Well, then aren't you glad you did it? Who cares what other people say is right and wrong? Everything is right, everything is wrong. It depends on what you believe in. That's why there are some people who believe in abortion and some people who don't believe in abortion. Try and convince them to think the other way, but yet both are right and both are wrong? According to the other person, they always are. The person that believes in what they believe in is always right, and the person that thinks the opposite is always wrong. But the funny part is, the person they're saying is wrong is doing the exact same thing. And we're not thinking about that. So if you want to fix this world, the first thing you have to do is take responsibility for yourself. The second thing is see things for what it really is. The third thing is to understand that every truth is true if your passion dictates it and resonates it to you. There is no wrong. It is only the perception of somebody else whether it's right or wrong. Because if somebody says, for example, well, murder is wrong, well, then why do we have abortions? Why do we have wars? Government puts you in jail if you murder someone, but yet they'll send you off to kill for them. That's a contradiction. It's just the yin and the yang. It's all a choice. I know murder is wrong. That's why I don't go around murdering people. But I could if I wanted to, just the same as you could. It all comes down to what you are willing to do or what you're willing not to do. But I don't have to experience murder to know I don't like it. You don't have to experience everything to find out whether you like it or not. Sometimes you just don't. That's why you did not go to college to learn everything. That's why you cannot do everything. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you might not be the smartest, apple in the bunch. But maybe you can play the piano better than anybody. Or maybe you can sing better than anybody. Or maybe you are the fastest shoe tire in all the world. There's always something beautiful about you. The problem is, most people worry so much about everybody else's opinion that they think they're not beautiful because somebody else said they're not. Well, they can believe you're evil. They can believe you're nasty. They can believe you're stupid. They can believe you're ugly. But do you have to? Think about that. You want to start fixing this world, the first thing you have to do is fix your own world and realize that it's okay for it to be in puzzle pieces like you see on this image. Because you can always put it back together again. You can always destroy it. You can do whatever you want, but there's consequences. You are who you choose to be. And you can lie up a storm about who you are. The truth is, if you're doing something to deceive and you're doing something to hurt people, even if you find it entertaining, even if you get paid for it, even if you think it's harmless, well, that shows more about you than it ever will the person that you're deceiving. It all comes down to responsibility, choice, experience, and freedom. You want true freedom in this world? Then let people do what they want. But keep in mind, there are consequences for doing the wrong thing. Now, I'm not saying that we should just go around, oh, well, I feel like murdering somebody today. Well, that's wrong. And you will pay the price. Because I guarantee you, if you murdered somebody's family and they found out who it was, they're probably going to do the same thing to you or somebody in your family. So you reap what you sow. If you want to discriminate because you don't like women, or you don't like gay people, or you don't like Republicans, or you don't like a different colored skin, well, that says more about you. It's one of the reasons why I don't show myself on video anymore. I want people to hear my voice. I could be anything. I could be a Republican or a Democrat. I could believe in Satan or I could believe in Buddha. I could be gay, I could be straight, I could be male or female. Female with a deep voice. But it's the words I want you to listen to, not the color of my skin or the way my sexual preference is or what shape I believe this planet is. Which I always find funny, and, there's flat earthers all around the globe. It's kind of ironic when you hear people say that. or people that believe in the globe saying, oh, there's people on all four corners of the earth. Well, last time I checked, there's no corners in a round thing. So think about that. You have flat earthers saying, oh, there's flat earthers all around the world, all around this globe. Then you have people that believe in the round earth saying, oh, yeah, I've traveled the four corners of the earth. Do you hear the logic and the stupidity all at once? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. So if you truly want to be free, stop worrying about what everybody else says. Just because the majority thinks and feels and even believes in a certain way doesn't mean it has to resonate with you and be your truth. Because like the broccoli example, every single person on the planet could have tried broccoli and said it's the best thing ever. That does not mean it will be the best thing ever for you. And if you choose to just believe them, then you miss out on the experience of actually trying it yourself to find out whether you truly like it or you truly hate it. So who is suffering? You are. And that's why I don't worry about the fact that YouTube blocks my videos. That's why I don't worry about the fact that my AdSense is going to be taken away from this video because they're automatically going to flag it. I don't care about the fact that out of millions of people on this planet and having almost 40,000 subscribers, that currently 17 people are listening. Well, if 10 of those or 5 of those or one of those 17 actually finds a different way and finds something in this video to help them, then that is a good thing. Quality over quantity. And there could be plenty of people listening to this right now rolling their eyes or trying to wait for me to say something stupid so they can do a clip video or chop up video and try and take things out of context. That's on them. If that's how they want to spend their time. If you came to this planet to hurt others, then to me that's a wasted trip. To me, I view this world like a carnival or like an amusement park. I could go around tripping all the people. I can go around throwing things at all the people. I could go around making fun of all the people I'm sitting on the bench, or I can go enjoy the rides. Because if this world is about being here to experience something, then go experience life. Don't base it on what other people say. What do you think is better? Let's say there's a Six Flags amusement park around by you. What do you think's going to be better? 100,000 people telling you how great it is or how bad it is, or you going there yourself and experiencing it? What do you think is going to be having more fulfillment in your life? All the people in the world telling you how great or how bad that amusement park was, or you going there and experiencing it yourself? Maybe getting sick and finding out, well, I don't want to go on that ride ever again. I don't want to try that food ever again. Or I can't wait to go back. This is the best thing ever. People so much these days are worried about what other people say. They allow other people to dictate their own lives, and the only person you're hurting is yourself. And that is why this world is going in the direction it's going, is people are so worried about everybody else. If you're a transgender, congratulations. I don't have to like you or agree with you. And even if I didn't like you, is that really going to change your world? Go live your life. Be happy being who you are. Don't try and dictate the world to make my life different because it has to suit your needs. My life should not affect yours. Unless I do something wrong or we're somehow connected. But even through a painful experience, you can learn things. You know how you learn not to touch fire? By being burned by it. People always say all the time, they curse out God or wherever they believe and say, oh, why do we have pain? Well, you know what? If you didn't have pain, how many people you think would still be alive right now? Pain is a warning sign. It's a way to keep you safe. What do you think would happen if you said, well, I can go wrestle a tiger. I won't feel a thing. Well, what do you think's going to happen as he's eating you alive and you can't feel a thing? You're probably going to die. So people ask God or whatever, why is there pain? Well, there's pain to keep you from doing stupid things that will hurt you. And the only way you know if something is bad is through experience. So you can even learn from a bad thing. Sometimes it's what not to do. Somebody had to first try a mushroom to find out if it was poisonous or not. And you know how they learned? Somebody died from it. It's the stupid people that keep going back and saying, well, maybe if I try it, it'll be different. Learn from mistakes. Learn from each other. Listen to people's points of view. Allow people to share thoughts different from your own. Don't stifle it because you're stifling creativity. If you back everybody in a corner, being too afraid to ever think in a different way, you will never experience anything new. Be careful what you wish for. So all of these people that are out protesting, telling people they're not allowed to speak because they think in a different way. You know what? If you're heavy and I don't like heavy people, that's too bad if you don't like it. Just like you might not like me because maybe you think my voice is irritating or I ramble on for too long. Well, you don't have to listen. That's one of the things I always used to find funny about some of the trolls. They say all the time, I'm very long-winded. And as you could see with now a 47-minute video, that is true. Well, no one put a gun to your head and made you listen. If you're dumb enough to listen to something you don't like, well, that's on you. If you try broccoli and hate it, why would you want to keep eating it just to tell everybody how victimized you are and how bad it tastes? Put it down and go eat a cup of ice cream or something that you love. If you're dumb enough to keep eating something you don't like, well, that's on you. Take responsibility for your life, and most people don't want to do that. The world wants to tell you it's not your fault, that you're the victim, that something that happened days, weeks, months, centuries, decades, whatever ago has to influence you now. That's bullshit. Unless you want it to be that way, because it's easier to play the victim, because then there's no responsibility and others will pick up where you left off. They will pick up your slack. You can't find a job, that means you're not searching hard enough. Because if you have arms, if you have legs, if you have the ability to see and hear, if you have the ability to get from one place to another, there is always something. If you have a brain, you could think of an idea that maybe no one else thought of before and earn a living. Because many people in the past have done it. There was a person who created Twitter, or Google, or Napster, or iPods, or the car. At one point, they didn't exist. Now, just imagine if something that didn't exist never came into creation because they were so worried about other people mocking them for doing something that wasn't there before. Think of all the beauty in this world that would not exist, all the things that we take for granted. And it's the same thing with speech. Because once you start silencing people, once you go down that road, you will have more and more people trying to silence more and more things until one day you're not allowed to speak at all. And you might be the one pointing the finger and stifling the others and being very happy that you're getting your way until it eventually comes back to you. And then all of a sudden you won't like it. But at that point, so much damage has been done, you can't fix it. So think differently. And that is why most people don't want to hear this. That is why of the original 17, it's now down to 14. Because 3 people decided, I can't listen to this guy's bullshit anymore. Or whatever they thought. And that's fine. Some people will listen to this entire thing. If you listen to the entire thing, leave it in the comment section and explain why you listened to the whole thing. And don't be afraid to hurt my feelings, but don't be a jerk either. Learn to communicate. If I don't like broccoli and you like broccoli, that doesn't make you a jerk or rude or stupid or crazy. It just makes you different. We have to stop apologizing for who we are or who we believe in or what we believe in. People are trying to control your thoughts, your beliefs. And they may not be popular ones. You may be some bigot that goes around saying, oh, screw all women, or screw all black people, or screw all white people, or something. Then you're a bad person if you do that. But they have the right to do it. If there's a business that opens in your store, in your town, let's say there's a brand new business, it's a food place, and they put a sign out there that says, no black people allowed. They have the right to do it, but how long do you think that business will stay in business? How many people do you think will shop there knowing that they will not let a person's skin dictate their entrance to their building? They have the right to do it, just like you have the right to invite whoever you want into your home. When you have a party, you don't just open the door and scream out, hey, everybody, come on in. You let the people you want in, and you have the right to kick anyone out. And somebody could say, oh, well, you won't let me in because I'm a different skin color or my sexual preference. And that may or may not be true. But they have that right. But there are consequences. So if there's a business that opens up tomorrow and they put it, if they're dumb enough to put a sign that says, no black people allowed, well, they're not going to be in business for very long. They will pay the price for their stupidity. Because if you hate somebody for their skin, if you hate somebody for their sexual preference, if you hate somebody for their belief, then there's something wrong with you, not them. I don't have to agree with what you agree with. I don't have to believe in what you believe in. I don't have to like what you like. You have the right just as much as I do. And when people start to understand that and they stop trying to bully people or pick on people or gang up on people and say, well, because we're the masses, we must be right, and start thinking that every person has their own individual universe that they're trying to experience and let them be, then this world would be a better place. Because you and I are not starting wars. You and I are not creating hatred. You want to fix this world? Fix yourself. Be true to yourself. Know thyself. Don't lie to yourself. You can convince yourself that you're a good person. You can justify what you do as maybe it's entertainment. I've had plenty of people that have lied to me that had justified it for whatever reason to make themselves sleep better at night. Wrong is wrong, no matter how you spin it. And the only person you hurt is yourself, because how are you ever going to grow as a human being if all you do is stifle your own creativity, if all you do is try and stifle somebody else's creativity? And that's why when it comes to things, I think in all directions and get all the information and draw my own conclusion. And I don't base a conclusion on what the majority says. So if the world is flat, I don't care if everybody tells me it is. If I haven't experienced it, then it doesn't matter what anybody else says, even if they're right. I will not allow somebody else's opinion or their own version of the truth dictate what I believe just because it's not popular or it's new. If you're different, so what? Be proud of that. Be proud you're not like everybody else. That's what being an individual is all about. And if somebody's jealous about something that you do, and they want to use that jealousy to instead of inspiring themselves, instead of trying to make themselves better or better than you, if they feel the only thing they can do is try and knock you down, that shows how horrible a person they are and how amazing you are. Because some stranger that you don't know is spending what limited energy they have to experience this planet on defeating you, and you're not defeated. For years I've had people try and knock me down. They've knocked me down. They haven't kept me down. If I'm depressed, it's because I chose to be. If I'm happy, it's because I found a way to get back to smiling. But it's okay to be either one, because it's just an experience. It's just a ride. How many people have been on a roller coaster and were scared to death, but still had the time of their lives and would go back again and again? How many people have crazy sex lives where they feel like putting their hands around somebody's throat and doing something not abusive, but doing something that turns two people on, but doing it in a responsible way. There are people that do things like that. Scary does not always mean bad, and fun doesn't always mean good. Because let me tell you something, you could drink a lot and then get in a car and it'll seem like fun. Not the smartest thing to do. You may think stabbing somebody or making fun of somebody and making fake profiles and lying to them all the time is your idea of fun, or thinking because you can hide behind the internet, you can be whoever you want and hurt other people and maybe even get people to get on your side and gang up. That means they need all of their power to equal yours. That's why I don't have anybody fighting my battles. Yes, I have several different trolls that hate me and they stalk me on a regular basis. Please, on my comic book channel, I have people that... I had a video I made today that as soon as I uploaded it, there was already one thumb down on it. That means somebody was so worried about what I did, they didn't care about the content. They just wanted to share their hatred. So in other words, they took what limited energy they had at that moment and decided, instead of building a better future, instead of building a better life for themselves, instead of doing something positive or beneficial in the world, they decided to send hatred my way. Does that say something about me, or does that say something about them? Be happy that you're crazy, or you think in a different way. Be happy that the world doesn't agree with you. Congratulations, that means you're not a follower, you're not a sheep. You're not somebody that will just believe something because they're too afraid to go against the grain. There's a reason why in a video game, there's one hero against an unlimited amount of energy of enemies. Because it takes an unlimited amount of enemies to defeat the one hero. Think about that. When you're playing a video game, it's not you and 6 million other people helping you to fight one enemy. It's you alone against an infinite amount of enemies that cannot stop you. They can slow you down, because if you've ever played a video game before, you don't go from beginning to end in 1 second. You get delayed. You have times where you have to crouch down, or you have to sneak around, or you have to hide, or you have to plan. But you always reach to the end if you're determined. Well, if you shut off the game or never play, then you never win. So think about that. All of these people that are trying to control you, like these Antifas and the feminist movements and these leftist crazy people, and I'm talking about the extremists, they need the masses because they can't do it individually, which means who really has the power? I've had people hurt me. I've had people trick me. I've had people knock me down. I've had people gang up on me, but yet I'm still here. I'm still alive. And they're still worried about me when I don't even remember their names. So who has the more power? The people that need to combine their energy to gang up on one person? So if people are picking on you, that means that you have something special that they want to stifle or stuffle out because they don't have it themselves. And because it's easier to destroy than it is to create, instead of them trying to match what you do or be better or learn from what you do, they want to say, well, the easiest thing is to snuff you out, to stop you from doing it. So then I don't feel bad anymore because I'm too lazy to do anything or too chicken to do anything. Because that's what it boils down to. So if you want to change this world, if you want it to be a better place, you better start realizing how much power you have. Use that power responsibly. With great power comes great responsibility. Spider-Man, for example, could easily have been a villain as much as he could have been a hero. What does it boil down to? Choice. And he could switch at any moment, just like you can. It's the ones that have self-control. It's the ones that will go into the fire to save lives instead of the one causing the fire to extinguish lives. Which person do you want to be? But remember, we are all humans. We are all experiencing this world. Some people go on the rides. Some people are afraid to go on the rides. Some people just make fun of those who go on the rides. Be responsible, be open, listen to all sides. You cannot learn truth if you only seek half of it, or one dimension of it. What's the sense in being in a third dimensional plane if you only experience one dimension? It's a waste of space if you think about it. And if this makes sense to you, congratulations, you have a thing called thought. You're not closed-minded and shutting it off and saying, I don't want to hear it. You have power. Stop letting other people take it away from you. And that's how amazing your truth is. You are so powerful that you can believe you don't have power, and look what happens. Your power is taken away from you. But here's the trick. It was never taken away. You gave it away. That's the ironic part of how powerful you are. You are so powerful that you can convince yourself that you don't have power. And it will seem like somebody else took it away, but you gave it away. Take it back. Learn from it. Because sometimes you have to lose something. You ever hear the expression, you don't know what you got until it's gone? Well, the only way you know that is if you lost it. Sometimes it's through your own neglect. Sometimes it's stupidity. Sometimes that's just life. But how do you know that you truly love something until you've lost something that you've loved? Just imagine how special someone or something has to be that when it leaves this planet, it hurts you to the point where maybe you might not be able to go on. Well, guess what? There are millions of people that die every day. You're not crying for every one of them, but you'll cry for your cat or your bird or your mother or your father or your sister or your best friend because they impacted your life in such a good way that they left and it hurt you. Would you trade that feeling to never meet them so you don't have to feel that pain? Just think how amazing those people or those animals or that situation was, that it affected you so deeply that in this world of infinite beings, there were people that made you sad that they're gone. How lucky were you to have them in your life, even if but for a moment? Because in this world, you choose where you want to be to a certain extent, especially in relationships. So if you lost the love of your life for some kind of tragedy or what have you, there were plenty of people that you've met in your life that meant nothing to you. They're gone, you don't care. Well, if somebody's gone that you cared about to the point where it hurts you, it affects your day, then just be so glad that they were in your life to allow you to feel that way. Because just imagine if they weren't. You can believe in whatever you want to believe in, but don't lie to yourself. Don't sit there and wait for other people to solve your answers. I'm not going to solve your answers. You may get positive things out of this. You may not get anything at all. That's up to you. But don't sit there and say, I have to listen to everything that Chris says, and I have to believe everything that Chris says, and I have to do everything that Chris says. No, you don't have to listen. You choose to listen. If you find anything good out of it, great. It's like listening to a whole bunch of channels that give recipes for food. Find the ones that resonate with what you want and make your own recipe. Or use a combination of several people's information. Why do you have to stick with one? And that's all I have to say about that. So that whole, what I always used to find funny is like the whole Forrest Gump thing. Life is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Well, the last time I checked, the square ones are caramel. The skinny ones that are round tend to be the peanut butter crisps. And the ones with the lumps tend to have the Rice Krispies or the peanuts. So here's one that I always thought was better. Life is like having sex without a condom. You never know what you're going to get. To me, that makes much more sense. And I hope you laughed a little bit about that, because life doesn't have to be that serious, or it can be that serious. It could be both, it could be neither. It's what you want. Your truth is your truth, even if no one else believes in it. That's why it's called your truth. And that's why you shouldn't understand, you should understand. Feel from your heart, not from your ears, with information coming in. You already have inside you all that you need. So thanks for listening. Have a great night. And I hope this video helped you in one way, shape, or form. If that, for anything, to fill your boredom for a moment. Have a great night, everybody. Peace and love to you all.